Hello. Got us a big money ticket item here. Okay. Picked these up, this whole set, this dresser and these two nightstands for 50 bucks. And we're gonna turn it into something that I could sell for maybe more than 10 times that. So these, looking at the back of them, these parts are wood. The side looks like a veneer MDF. The top is a veneer MDF. The drawers and the drawer fronts are wood. The fronts of the everything is wood. So I think we're just going to do a scuff and shoot. It seems like a prime candidate for that. And I think I already have a color I want to do and a combination of hardware. So this one should be a pretty quick turnaround. I hope. Probably won't be because there's 3 of them. So that's great. First thing we're going to do, we're going to do nightstands first because they're smaller. Therefore, they should be easy. They probably won't be. This is veneer, so we're going to bust out our 120. You don't want to do 80 or anything really less than 100 grit on the veneer stuff. You're just trying to scuff up the finish so we can lay that primer down. If you get an 80 on there, you're going to scour it. It's MDF. It's real soft. You're going to have all kinds of scrape marks in it from sanding and all kinds of stuff. It's not going to look good. So you want to use the 120. It's a finer grit. I also have a 180 and a 220. Depending on how well this scuffs up, I might hit it with the 180 the second time. It's Charlie the Shop Dog fighting with a rat. So first thing we're going to do is shut them up. They chased a rat. Now that the excitement's over, they cornered a rat on the corner of the house. We have French drains by our gutters, and I guess it burrowed down in there and they were digging it up and they're inside now. So the thing that you want to do with these drawers, you always want to label them where they go. This one says 1-1, so this is the first nightstand. I need to label the inside of it. I've already taken the back off. It's a removable back. I'm going to label the inside of it so I know which one is 1 and which one is 2. This one also has felt lining on the inside that is incredibly dirty. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Heat it up and pull it out maybe? I don't know. So, get these drawers out of here, maybe. Nope. There we go. God. All right. And these slides are the ball bearing slides, but they're it looks like a very Chinesian version of a good ball bearing slide. So when you see those, you just want to put pressure on both sides, pull. It's going to feel like you're going to break it, but just keep pulling, it'll slip out and you'll get them out. The bottom 2 and 3, I already got those out, just like this one, I've already pulled those out. Then do the top one, that's why I gave you such a struggle. So we're going to hit it with the 120, see how it looks. Scuff and shoot. So we're just scuffing it up is all we're doing. Not trying to take any of the finish off or anything. And I don't know if you can see the color difference on here. So there's a shine to this side, a definite shine, and there's a dullness now to this side because we've scraped off the top layer. So we're going to keep doing it, and there's still a little bit of shine to it. That's okay. If you get down below that, you're going to be into the MDF before too long. So we're just going to keep going. You can do this with an electric sander, you know, like an orbital sander or a quarter sheet, little square ones, or a finish sander, the little pointy ones. You can do this with whatever you want. I choose to do it by hand. I have more control, and like that, I could feel that there was a bump there. I mean, I could see it, but using my pressure of my fingers, I got it down smooth, and we're good. There's no lingering little bumps there. Plus, a little elbow grease never really hurt anybody, so. And see, just like that, it was like 2 minutes of sanding and got the whole thing scuffed down, nice, I like it. It looks very good. All right, so we got everything scuffed down. There's a little dip right here. There's some spots. There's another dip right here. Another one right here. Yeah, it looks like the lady that had this before me was a smoker and burned a couple holes in it when she fell asleep with a cigarette in her mouth and rolled out and landed on the nightstand. Classy. So the top is good. I'm gonna get a sheet of the 180 and I'm gonna see if I can get it better. I'm just gonna give it a quick pass. Just gonna give a quick pass over the whole thing. All right, let's wipe it and see what we're looking at. Oh yeah, there's virtually no shine to this thing anymore. I like it. It's gonna make it very good to prime. It's nice and smooth. Even those little divots that were gone right here with the 120, those are gone. So we got all that out. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do the rest of the thing and then we're gonna do the second thing. So I'm gonna get to work on this. I'm gonna cut the camera off. I need to charge it anyway. It was already beeping at me. I'm gonna get the rest of these things sanded and then we'll come back. I'll bring you back in for the drawers. We'll do the drawers together. And then we're not gonna prime tonight. It's already late. Mama and the baby just went to sleep. So I'm just out here killing time till it's my bedtime. So we're gonna hit this, get everything sanded down, get all the sheen off of everything, get it ready to prime. This is gonna be quick. It's not gonna be a 3, 4, 5 day process. This is gonna be prime this thing as soon as I'm done with the dresser. Because we're gonna do the same thing we're doing here on the big dresser. We're gonna get these done first, then we'll get that one, and then we're gonna prime everything at the same time. Because mixing and cleaning a gun sucks. So we're gonna make sure that we get everything done in one swoop. Come back and see me when it's time for the drawers. Well, they look a little different now, don't they? Time lapse, that was only about 30 minutes worth of work. Just sanding everything down by hand, because remember, we're just scuffing, we're not taking the finish off. These are gonna turn out really, really nice. This finish, this veneer top, it's hard to beat when you're doing real wood versus veneer. Veneer, you don't really get as much money as it warrants by how good it looks, because, you know, obviously wood's gonna last longer than me. You know, the dresser I just sold a couple videos back, you'll see that one. It's the one with the stained top. That one I just got rid of, I think it's gonna outlive me. It was born in 1976, and if they treat it right and they put it in the baby's room and they're gonna use it as a changing table kind of station thing, that kid's gonna have it when they get older if they keep on to it. So, you know, wood will be here forever. This veneer stuff, it'll break down over time. It's MDF. You get liquid on it, it bubbles up. You know, people throw them out. But compared to real wood, which is real porous, and you've seen it in a couple of my other videos, that when you spray real wood after you sanded it down and you get the lacquer off, you get the finish off or whatever, when you spray it, it just soaks up the primer. It soaks up the paint so fast. And you can see the grain, and you can see the little pores in it and everything, and it's nice. But for the money, veneer is the way to go. This is going to be a smooth finish over the whole thing. The drawers might be a little bit different. The drawers might have a little bit of texture to them just because they are real wood. But it's got such a heavy lacquer over top of it, heavy stain. We're just scuffing it up, so we're not taking it down. So I don't think we're going to open any of those pores. Now, we're going to do the drawers next. I'm going to bring in one set of drawers. We're going to take the hardware off. We're going to sand the face. So I'm going to show you the different construction of a drawer here. So let me grab this one. Don't fall. Okay, so this is a drawer, obviously. We're going to take the hardware off. There's 2 screws in the back. And this construction here is called dovetail construction. I don't know if you could see it, but there's little notches cut in here, right? So the way they make this is there's a special little tool that you can use to cut a dove joint out. Or a lot of times, I doubt this one they did by hand. They probably used a machine. They look a little too uniform. But on the older wood dressers, you know that they did that by hand. They notched it in, they beat out the piece, they glue it, and they slide it into this, and that's how you get the joint without nails. This one is dovetail all the way around. It's got a real thin bottom on it. That's probably, honestly, that's probably only 1/8 inch material there on the bottom, but it's a nightstand. It's not going to have anything heavy in it, you know, maybe a gun in the top drawer. It's thin enough you could put a little gun in there. But this one, I don't know, you put a bibble, you can put some glasses. I don't know what you put in nightstands. I don't have one. I'm not fancy. So we're going to sand this down. We're going to basically do the same thing we did to that. We're just going to scuff it up. After we take these out, we're going to leave the actual drawer body alone. We're not going to do anything with that. We're going to leave it the way it is. So these are inset right here. They sit inside the body of the nightstand, and the dresser I think is different. Yeah, the dresser's got a piece outside that it hits the body. The inset ones, we're going to roll this top, and we're going to roll these sides. So that way, when we prime it, we're going to prime the body of it first, so we can get all the nooks and crannies, get everything primed up for paint, because when we go back and paint it, we're going to paint all of the nooks and crannies and all that. So when we prime these are sitting inside the body, so really we're just getting the face. So we're going to have to go back and roll the edges. It's just 3 sides, you don't do the bottom. So it's just 1, 2, and 3. And we roll those, and we're going to do the same thing with the paint. When it's time, we're going to roll that. I'll show you when we get there the rollers that we use. I'm actually really happy with them. I bought a set that said that they didn't leave stipple, but they did. So the guys at the paint store gave me another set of rollers to try out when I told them that it didn't do what it said it was. That's cool. So they gave me those, and it worked out. I'm not keeping these. Didn't make any of that into the trash can. So they gave me another set, and it actually doesn't leave stipple. Plus, the paint that we get the advanced line from Benjamin Moore. It flows out really nice. So even with that little roller that we're going to use on this, which is foam, it rolls on. A little bumpy, it's got a little stipple to it, but the paint flows out nicely. You never know you rolled it. And actually, the dresser I was talking about with the stained top, I actually screwed up the door, the front of the door. I set it down on its face too early to paint the backside, and there was some paint came off. So I actually used a brush, with just a regular paintbrush, and brushed that whole little door front there. And once it dried, you couldn't even tell. There was no brush marks, no nothing. Everything flows out smooth. So that's what we're going to do on the tops and sides here. But for now, we're gonna sand down the fronts. We're going to get them scuffed up, make them look like this. So when you come back next time, you're going to see all of this. I'm going to have it all put back together for the time being, just so I can move them out of the way. I think what we're going to do, I think we're going to go ahead and just prime these first. It's going to be easy. We can leave them primed, put them back in the corner back here until we're ready for the dresser. And then that way, when we're ready for the dresser, we shoot everything at once with the top coat, and then we're done after we get hardware, which I'm going to make an order. I didn't do that yet. I'm actually feeling a little froggy. We're going to go ahead and wipe this thing down, and I'm just going to move it to the back of the shop so I can do the other one. The drawers take about 5 minutes to get everything done. But we're not going to prime tonight. It's already too late, like I said. So actually, before I do that, let's blow everything off so you can see the before and after on the paper if this is your first time. No dust, right? We just blew it all off. Now we're going to take our spray and our towel. And you always want to spray the towel, don't spray the actual piece, because remember, this is MDF. It's going to, you know, if it gets enough on there, it'll bubble up. But this, you're just wiping the surface. And if you spray it on wood, it's going to soak into that wood. It's going to take forever to dry. So let's just do the top. I'll show you. So this is how much stuff came off. We just blew that off. There was nothing on it, right? So this is why you want to do. You want to take the extra couple minutes, wipe everything down, just get all the dust off of everything. Now before we prime, we'll do it again. There's not going to be hardly anything on it, but just as a prep, I'm sitting in the back, it's still dusty in here. Just want to make sure we get every little speck of dust off of this thing. Because if you're going to be blowing paint like I am, you know, with your gun, it's going to kick that dust up with the pressure of the air. So, you know, it's going to blow it all around, mixing in with the paint, and it's not going to be good. So just take the extra time, wipe everything down, get every little bit of dust off of it, and then you're going to have an amazing product. And anywhere that you touch with your hands, say like I just put my hand up here to wipe this down. When I'm done, I'm going to go back and I'm going to wipe that spot again and get all the oil off of it from my hand. I'm not saying I'm oily, but I'm oily. So just wipe that off. So this spray is a mix of like mineral spirits. It's got a little bit of alcohol in it, and it dries really quick. Like the top's already almost dry, you know. But if you spray this on natural wood, it does take quite a little bit to get all the way evaporated and dried off. So it's easier just to put it on the rag and just wipe everything down, you know. So that's what we're doing. Make sure we get all the dust off of all the little nooks and crannies and everything. This piece has a few little indents here on the legs. You want to make sure you get all that. You know, do the drawers the same, you know. Just make sure you get everything. You want this thing as clean as you can possibly get it. Okay, so now that this thing is all wiped down, that's a pretty color. I wish we could keep it, but it's veneer. See every scratch in this thing from us sandpapering, you know. So I'm gonna carry it over to the back. We're gonna do the same thing with this one after we do the drawers. We've got 3 drawers to do on that one. And we're gonna do the same thing, and then essentially this thing is ready for prime. And we might be able to do it tomorrow if I can get done with the big body dresser. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera. I'm going to do the next 3 drawers off camera, get this thing wiped down. I'm going to call it a night. And then we're going to convene back here tomorrow afternoon when I get home from my real job, because this ain't it. And we'll start working on the big dresser. If it's any similar to this thing will be ready to prime no later than 2 days from now. Probably won't have time to do it tomorrow night. Family, you know. But we can try. She said I have time to work out here, so we'll see. I'll see you tomorrow. Day 2. Ta-da! Here's the body of the dresser. I've already taken the drawers out. Hardware's still on them. But we're going to have a little bit of an issue. We're going to have to do some work to both sets of drawers here. I was going to go buy some hardware today, and I was like, let me just double check the size of the spacing, the center to center, and it's not good. The nightstand center to center is 3 1/4, and the dresser center to center is 4 1/4. So if you've done this before, or if you've never done this before, I'm going to tell you a little secret. 3 1/4, 4 1/4, anything other than the main sizes, you know, you got your 2 1/2, your 3, your 3 1/2, your 4, your 4 1/2, and 5 and I think it's 5 1/16 is generally the common sizes of hardware. If you have anything else that's not one of those common sizes, it is impossible to find anything that matches that isn't just your stock, you know, 2 little legs on a bar, you know, and that's not what we're going for on this one. We're gonna put some different hardware on it. So I've decided that it's gonna take us a little bit longer to get to prime, because what we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to Bondo all the holes for every drawer on here, except for the top three drawers that go up here. They have the knobs, and those are fine. Those are easy to replace. But the pull-out drawers with the double handles on the dresser here, and the nightstands over there have a single pull, but those are 3 1/4. We're gonna Bondo all these holes shut on the front, and we're gonna put wood filler on the back, sand it smooth, so you never even know that we were doing this. We're gonna let that set up, because Bondo, when it dries, it gets hard as a rock. So you can drill through it again, and you don't have any issues. It's not gonna knock out or anything like that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna Bondo the holes, wood fill the back of them, we're gonna remeasure, and we're drilling for 3s. So we're gonna re-drill every drawer on both the nightstand and the dresser for 3-inch pulls. The ones I wanna get are 3 inches or 4 inches. The 4-inch wouldn't look good on the nightstand, and the 3 will work on these. It's gonna be a little small, but I think we can get away with it. So first things first, before we get to any of that, we gotta do the same thing we did to the nightstands on this guy. So we're gonna have to get the sanding. And from last night, I think both of them took me about an hour to get all the way through. And that was including wiping down and moving to the back of the shop. So this one should only take maybe 30 minutes to get the whole thing done, and then we can start on the drawers. The drawers are gonna be a little bit more difficult. They got a bevel to them, and we're gonna have to break out the little sander and kind of just scuff them up that way. So that might be what takes the longest here. So we got our 120, we got our 180. We're gonna, just on the top, we're only doing 180. The same thing I did to the nightstands over there. Hit it with 120 first, then go over top of it with 180. Make sure it's super smooth on the top. This is the part that people's eyes are attracted to. You could do the sides, you could do the drawers, you can do everything with the 180. We just don't want to spend that much time on it because it's not a real focal point, you know what I mean? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get started with this. I'm gonna turn the camera off, and we're just gonna get through it. That's how we're gonna do it. Had somebody tell me my videos are too long with me sanding and playing the same songs over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm just gonna turn the camera off. I'm gonna get to work. When we come back, this whole thing will be scuffed up, and then we'll get started on the drawers. We'll do a couple drawers with you, and then the fun starts with the Bondo and the sanding and the way more work that I wanted to put into this. Great! And time. I didn't take time. It was probably 30 minutes-ish. I don't know. So upon sanding the top, I have some spots that are going to need some Bondo if we're going to keep this thing silky smooth. So there's a big dent right here where it looks like somebody dropped something on top of it. There's a gouge right here, a couple little dings and dents here and here. I'm missing a chunk of the veneer over here. I got a dent back here, and I got a big old divot right here, right in the middle. So we're gonna end up Bondoing the top of this thing, not the whole thing. We're just gonna do like we did in a couple other videos ago. Where you just get it on your putty knife, and you just get it in there, and then you scrape it off, and you have to resand. Typically, you just want to resand those spots, but we're gonna go ahead and do the whole thing. Make sure we get a nice, even sanding on it, just on the top. We don't need to do the rest of this. I got a couple little divots here. I might try to fill these right here, but it's gonna be hard because they're on the bull nose. And a couple other little spots, so I might just leave those. I don't know, we'll see. So the next thing is gonna be the drawers. So we're going to do the same thing with these that we did with the nightstand drawers. We're just going to take the hardware off, and then we're going to sand these down. I'm going to do one with you, and then I'm going to cut the camera again because I don't want to upset Joey. So just take these out right here. That's cool, that'll reach. Inset. Neat. I meant for that to happen. If you're asking, nobody's asking, but I meant for that to happen. Okay, so we got those out. Just need to push those screws through. I might actually keep the screws from this one. Didn't make either of them. So on these guys, we're just going to do the 120. It's going to be easier all the way around. Not to worry about being so silky smooth as the top, but we're still going to have a smooth surface. So again, we're just scuffing, getting that shine knocked off the top. Since this is veneer, if this was wood grain and the grain would be running this way, as you can kind of see if I wipe the dust. If the wood grain, if it was wood drawers and they were going this way, you would want to go with that. But since it's a veneer, it doesn't matter. You're just getting it smooth. The primer will kind of cover in all the little swirl marks and all that stuff. So we're just going to get all of these sanded up, nice and scuffy. Okay. Now remember I said this thing had beveled edges. So what we're going to do, it's a little round over right here in between the face and the top. There's a nice little... So what we got is this super soft sander. It's a little sanding block that you can buy. I think I got this at Lowe's, 10 bucks. It comes with a bunch of these little sandpaper strips. I don't know if you can rebuy these or if you have to buy the whole thing, but it's 10 bucks and it's well worth its weight in gold. So we're just going to take that and just rub it on here. We got the 120 on this guy too. Want to hit it from both sides, the top and the bottom of the thing, and that'll pretty much cover you all the way around. So right there, nice and smooth. We do still have a little bit of spot right on the middle of the hump right here, but that's fine. We'll hit that with the regular 120. And since I got to do some Bondo work, I'm using it as a table at this point. So, well, don't do that. Stop it. Quit it. Stop. Stop it. I don't want more work for myself, so we'll put this down here. And on this one, I know on the other one, on the nightstands, we didn't sand the bottom of the drawers because we didn't have to, because they're inset and they're so low to the ground, nobody's going to see them. Technically, this is low to the ground too, but the way that these drawers they're not inset, but they sit on the outside, we got to get every piece of the drawer when we're spraying. So we're going to make sure that we get these bottoms and sides sanded down as well. All right. And just like that, your drawer is sanded. We only got 6 more to do. It's a new day, and it's Bondo day. So, we're going to mix up our Bondo. And if you recall from a previous video, I showed you how to do that. But if you didn't see that video, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I use a little paint stick to get it out of there. It's a lot easier than trying to fit the putty knife down in there. To get you a nice, decent sized helping, you just scrape off the excess, put the lid back on. You don't want that stuff to dry out. So you're going to take your cream hardener, and for a lump about that big, we're probably going to do about 1 inch or so of the cream hardener. So you want a nice little line like that. Then you're going to want to mix it up, and you're going to see it go from a gray color for this all-purpose stuff. They make different Bondos for different materials, fiberglass, wood, this all-purpose stuff. It's good for wood, metal, plastic, all that. This is actually the stuff I used on my truck when I did some body filler on it. It's all I had here at the shop, and it's all they had at the store. They didn't have the actual automotive body filler. They just had the multi-purpose. So that's what I got. So you're going to mix in that cream hardener real good. You want to make sure you get it all mixed up until you see no blue. And then what we're going to do on these guys today is we are going to plug up these holes here. The hardware that I had originally picked did not. I'm gonna go to the other side here. You only have like maybe 5 minutes to work with this stuff before it starts setting up, so you gotta move quick. So the original hardware that I picked did not come in this size. This is an odd size. So what we're doing is we're packing these holes. And originally I was going to go with 3-inch centers, but I found that they make the same hardware in a 5 and a 16th. So that's what I'm going with. So instead of 2, each drawer is going to have 1 pull. So we got to cover all this stuff up, pack it in there good. And I know there's some excess on there, but that's fine because we're going to go back over it. I'll show you that in a sec. We'll get some more. Make sure we get this. And obviously I'm not going to have enough for one pass for all these drawers because I'm leaving so much excess, but we'll have enough. So we're going to get everything packed in tight. I got this little one from when there was that little fake lock on here. Getting rid of that. And this top drawer actually had 2 knobs instead of a pull, but I'm going to put a pull on it since it's a long drawer like the rest of these. So scrape this off, scoop it back on here. So you can see I'm already out on my little pad there, my little chip of cardboard. So what we're going to do, honk honk, indeed, honk honk. Honk, 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 honk. I might actually have enough, but I'm going to have more here in a minute because of the process. They are trying to get somebody's attention. Okay, scrape that, make sure that hole's packed. I'm running out just at the wrong time here. Okay, that's fine. Gotta hurry up and work with this stuff because like I said, you only got about 5, maybe 6 minutes before it sets up. So give me a little extra right there, pack that hole. Okay, then we're gonna switch from our little skinny putty knife. And if all you have is a skinny putty knife, that's fine. But I've got this big 3-inch as well. So what I'm gonna do is put it flat on the surface and just scrape off the excess like that, and our holes are filled. And actually the old hardware left these little rings. I don't know if you can see them, if they're showing up on the camera or not, but it left those little rings on there, and we got to fill those in too because when you paint it, you're going to see that. So just scrape this over everything. It's a nice flat surface, and this one is actually metal. This one's like a chrome steel. So you know it's a good flat surface. It's not bending anywhere or anything like that. So get all our excess, and then we're going to get our little skinny guy again. We're going to get some of this excess off of here, and we're actually going to come back a second time and just drag some more in that hole. Just get it nice and nice and packed in there. Because you will there will be a height difference, and you'll see it when you paint over top of it. So you want to make sure you get enough in there. And like I said, we're just scraping that. Just make sure you got some in there. Pack it. And then on the back side of these things, what we're going to do is we're actually going to put wood filler, because it's a wooden drawer. So we're going to put wood filler on the back side where the holes were previously drilled. That one needed a lot. That one didn't get that much in there. This one was pretty okay. This one's bad. Get packed. And then we're going to go back over it again one more time with the big guy and make sure that we get all the excess off. Okay. So we scrape this. And this stuff's already starting to harden up on us, so that's what I'm saying. You don't have very long. Once you get started, you kind of got to burn right through it. And you're going to be mixing batches and batches and batches of this stuff. So next, what we're going to do after we do the wood filler, we're actually going to go to the dresser itself, because that top had some dings in it, so we got to go fix that top. But that's going to be a whole nother mixture of Bondo, because this stuff's already hardened enough. It's kind of fighting me scraping it off here. But the end result is going to be a nice smoothed over surface, because we're going to sand it. So you can see the color differentiation here. You can see the leftover stuff. So we're actually going to sand the whole front down again. We're going to do the same thing we did. We're going to do the 120, and then we're going to do, depending on how smooth it looks, we might actually do 180 on these fronts. I doubt we're going to need to. I wouldn't think we would need to, at least. Okay, you're going to clean off your tools here. The best way to go about it, just get a rag, grip it off. That's all you got to do. And once this is dry, you can actually, if you care that much, I don't, because, well, it's a putty knife and this is kind of what they're meant for. But you can scrape it off with a razor blade. You can sand it, get all that stuff back off of there. Make sure you got a nice clean surface. But I find just wiping it like this gets everything off for the most part. Good enough. So that's how we do that. That's how we're going to go ahead and plug up these holes. I'm going to let this dry. Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to add the wood putty to it. So each one of these holes on the back side had a hole where the screw went in. We got to put some of this in there. Same process. This is already pre-mixed. So you just get a dab of it, kind of shove it in there. It dries in like 15-20 minutes. And then you can sand it down and get it nice and smooth on the back side. Color should match up, so you shouldn't even know it was there. So we're gonna let these dry, then we'll do this. Okay, I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with the wood filler. So this is your plastic wood from DAP. It's not the best, but it's what we got, so that's what we're gonna do. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4 holes. So basically you're just gonna take this, let me get my big old mitts out of the way. You're gonna take this and you're just gonna squeeze it. You're going to try to get it down in there. See? Like squeeze and dab. Squeeze and dab. Maybe quit squeezing so you can dab. Get all that off of there. And just put some on there. And here. Put some in there. Maybe. If it'll work with this here. And then just shoot some down in there. There we go. Okay, so now that we got that in there, to close this up, you're going to take your trusty old Bondo putty knife, and you're just going to pack it and drag it. Pack it and drag it. Pack it and drag it. Drag it and pack it. Okay, then we're just going to drag it this way to kind of go with the grain, like that. We're going to let that set up. So we're going to leave this, I did it in 15 minutes last time, but I also had the heat on in here. So we're going to let that dry up, and then we're going to come back with the 120 and just do a light sand and get the rough edges off that are raised up right here in the grain. We're just going to do a light sand there and a light sand there. Ta-da! That's done. So let me show you what we've done on top side here. So on the other side of this guy here, what I did was I went ahead and sanded it. So what I did on the front side of this cabinet is what we're about to do over here. Now I did pretty heavy coats of Bondo, and I was able to scrape off some, but we had some spots that were already starting to dry, so the putty knife was kind of just jumping around over here. So I took some 80, just do a light 80 on this side. You may not have to do this if you can get it thin enough. I wasn't able to. And just get that edge knocked down, alright? You're just going to get that rough edge knocked down there, and then you're going to come back and wipe it off. Then you're going to come back with your 120 and do the same thing. And you see how a lot of the residual goes away when you're sanding, because it's staying in the spot that it needs to stay in. It's staying in the the filled areas here and here where the extra stuff was. Clearly this was a low spot right here. I mean, you can tell by how much is left over. So we're gonna do all these holes and all the ones on the nightstand. We're gonna do those exactly the same way. I'm gonna go ahead and sand these first on this side, then we're gonna flip it over. We're gonna do the wood putty. And I can already tell in the wood putty down here, it's getting super light, the color, which means it's drying. So, I mean, it's getting late anyway tonight. I'm gonna have to turn in here in a little bit. So we're gonna get all these sanded down, flip them over, do all the wood putty on the backside. Tomorrow, when I get home, I'm gonna sand down all the insides with the wood filler, and then we should be ready to prime. I already did the primer on top of the dresser. In fact, let me show you that. I said primer, I meant Bondo. We've already done the Bondo all over the dresser. Now this long line here that goes, there's a seam in the middle that kind of caught it. You can see it right here, right here, right here. It actually did have a little bit of a lip to it, which was going to show up in the painting process. So that's been filled in all the spots. So we're going to have to do the same thing on this that we just did on the drawer fronts over there. So we're going to have to hit this. You got this rough stuff right here that probably scrape that off with the putty knife first so it doesn't burn through sheets and sheets of sandpaper trying to get all that off. And then over here we had some dings, and that's rough. I mean, it's like a mountain range. But we got to resand this whole top. So we're gonna do it the same way. Go over the rough spots with the 80, just get it knocked down real fast, and then we're gonna turn around, hit it with the 120, and then a final with the 180. And then we're gonna be ready for prime. We're gonna prime this whole thing tomorrow afternoon. We're gonna prime this. We're gonna prime the nightstands, all the drawers, all the drawers, all the drawers, and the drawers. And then come Friday, which is 2 days from now, because it's Wednesday, we're gonna go ahead and lay down the top coat, and we're gonna try to get this thing sold on Saturday or Sunday. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. All right, it's prime day, and not the day everybody waits for, you know, with the website with the lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. So we have the big dresser and the two nightstands that are both getting primed at the same time. So I've mixed up all the primer already. It's in the gun, ready to go. We're going to spray the bodies first. We're going to end up doing probably 3-4 coats on these by themselves, and then we're going to get the drawers. We're going to put the drawers in there, and then we'll do the drawers over the bodies. So while these are drying in between coats, the nightstand drawers, some of the Bondo actually sank inside the hole, so there's a divot. So I'm going to go back over top of those. I'm going to put some more Bondo, smooth those back out, let it dry, sand those down, and then those should be ready by tonight to go ahead and spray. So we're going to do that, and then after that's done in between coats, I'm going to start drilling out the new holes for the new hardware that we got. So on the big drawers for this guy, we're going with 5 1/16 handles. We're going to do 1 per instead of 2. They had the top one had the 2 pulls, or the 2 knobs. We got rid of those. We're going to put a single pull, single, 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 single. Put the little knobbies there. And on these guys, I picked a 3 3/4 inch that matches this, since it's going to be sold as a set. So we need to drill the holes for that as well. So I've got my work cut out for me today to get all this stuff primed, because tomorrow when I get home from the hockey game at like 10 o'clock at night, we're going to be out here spraying paint, because I'm going to try to get rid of these things on Sunday. Let me get the gun, let me get my mask. We're going to start painting. paint day. All the primer has been set up. I let it set overnight with fans on. Everything is nice and primed evenly the way it's supposed to be. The only thing is, on some of these flat surfaces, when you spray it, you're gonna get a little bit of a rough surface to it. So just on the tops, like this one's got a pretty good surface to it right here. The drawers are fine. I'm probably still gonna hit them. So just on the flat surfaces, the tops and the faces here, maybe the sides, I'm gonna hit it with our 220. 220 is key. It's a real fine grit. It's about as fine as you want to go. The dust it creates will be so bad. So you don't want to be painting over that, even though you're going to wipe it down. So I'm going to hit all the flat sides, fronts, all that stuff with the 220. I'm going to spray our mineral spirits. I got mineral spirits now. I'm not using that spray I was using before anymore. I ran out and I was already at the paint store, so I just got mineral spirits. Mineral spirits will do the same thing, and it'll dry pretty quick. It's about 10 minutes or so to give it to dry. We're going to expedite that with fans. We're going to turn those fans on and get some air movement in here. Then we're going to lay down a couple coats of paint before I have to go. I'm going to a hockey game tonight, so got to get that done before I go. And then when I get back tonight, we're going to lay down the last 1 or 2 coats over everything, and we're going to let it dry. We're going to run the fans all night. We're going to keep the door closed, but we're just going to keep the air movement going. Then tomorrow, we're going to put all the hardware on, and we're good. We're done. So let me get to sanding, and then we'll start spraying some paint. Okay, so we're ready to paint the bodies. All right, I took the drawers out of the dresser because they're exterior drawers. They're not inset. These are inset, and we have to roll the edges anyway, so those can stay where they're at. The top drawer is an exterior drawer as well. It's got a piece that comes up over here. So to paint this, got to take it out. So both top drawers for the nightstands have been removed. Both sets of drawers for the nightstands, the lower drawers are in. Every drawer is out of the dresser. So now we're going to spray. The color that we're going with on these is called Gentleman's Gray. It's a Benjamin Moore. It's a Benjamin Moore product color, and we're spraying it. Same thing we spray everything in advance. If you want to hear more about advance, check out another video. I go into depth, nothing, but I'll tell you all about it. So we're going to spray 1 quick coat on these, let them tack up a little bit, and then we'll hit them with the second. I forgot to hit record on the camera for the second coat, but right now we've got 2 coats on each one of these things, on each one of the nightstands and the dresser. I think that's going to be good enough. Honestly, this paint covered really, really well when it was getting sprayed. I don't see any light spots anywhere I look. If you're seeing light spots on the camera, it's just shine from the lights. I really like this color. It's not what the card looks like when you order the paint, but this is a really nice color. So we're actually going to pair this, once we get to that point, with champagne brass is what the color is called, I think. It's a brush gold, pretty much is what it is. And with this color combo, that is going to look chef's kiss. So we're going to let this set up. I'm going to leave the fans running. We're going to try to get this as dry as we can tonight. That's why I'm going to leave the fans running while I'm at the game. And then when I get back later tonight, I'm going to touch test the paint, make sure it's good. We're going to put the drawers back in, and we're going to paint the drawers in the box. So let's let the fans run, give it a few hours. I'll be back in approximately 5-ish hours. So I feel like with the fans, with direct airflow running and kind of circulating in here, that should be plenty of time for nothing to be sticky when we get back. So I'll see y'all tonight. Alright, so we're at the final day. Just came out this morning to check everything and see how we're looking. Nothing is sticking to each other, so that's a plus. So what we're going to do on the dresser, I only have a couple edges I got to roll. It's really just the top and maybe just the bottom. Then I just have to roll the edges. Everything else got pretty good coverage. And on here, I got to roll the 2 edges and the top on the nightstands. That's it. That'll be 2 seconds. I'm not going to put that on tape. It is what it is. But we are going to be doing hardware today. The only problem is the hardware that we got only came with one size of screw. And it's little tiny. Doesn't make it all the way through. So for years and years of doing this for work, I actually have these. I don't know if you can see it, but it's sectioned off. It's got little unthreaded areas. You can cut those. So these are adjustable screws. What you can do, you take some wire cutters, some dikes, something that'll cut. You take that, just snip that off, and it fits perfect. I've already put one of these in there. Saw that I need to cut the last little threaded bit off, and then we'll have plenty sticking out for the hardware. So I'm going to get to cutting all of these. I'm going to start putting on some hardware. I think the dresser is done. We're going to let it sit in here the rest of the day. I'll move it into the house tonight. So we can stay, just so it can finish curing up and doing all that. Same thing with the nightstands. We're gonna do that. We're gonna roll the edges, and we're done. These things are ready to go. So let me get these cut. We'll start putting on some hardware, and then we're done. Okay, so now we're gonna roll the edges. I've already got all the hardware on. That was a chore in itself. Some of these screws and these hardware pulls and whatever, they bottomed out a little bit. So we're gonna roll the top edge and the side edges here, and I also got to pull the drawers out so I can roll the insides. I didn't spray those because the drawers were closed when I sprayed. Didn't even think about it. So actually, now I'm gonna roll them here. I'll do that part here in a little bit. I'll pull it out. These drawers came out good. You don't really need anything on top there. I mean, there's a little bit of miscoverage, but it's fine. It'll be all right. So I'm going to do these right here and the sides. So what you're going to want to do, if you're using a watered down paint, you're going to want to use that watered down paint because you thinned it out a little bit. The color is going to vary. So we've got the leftover paint that I used to spray with, and we're just going to put it on this roller. We're going to load it up and just do a very light coat over top, just like that. Roll it a couple times to make sure you get everything on there. And there you go. That one's rolled. Same thing with the side. Just want to get that paint on there. So we're going to do this to all 4 of these drawers. Make sure we get whatever that is. I'm going to do this to all 4 of these drawers here, and I'm actually going to do the tops of the dresser as well. The dresser came out good. It was just the top parts that's kind of hidden under the lip of the top of the dresser there. So we're just going to make sure that we get all of that touched up. And once that's set up, we're going to pull the drawers out, and I'll get the insides. I don't have to show you that part, that's easy. I just wanted to show you this part of actually rolling. So I'm going to do the second one and then pull these drawers out. Actually going to bring you back in here because I wanted to show you, this is the roller I was talking about that they state doesn't leave any stipple or anything like that. And this is going to be the, I don't know, probably 4th or 5th dresser I've used these on. And I can honestly say they do not leave a stipple. It looks a little textured at the beginning there, but that levels out, that flows out with the paint, with the kind of paint we're using. So I don't remember the model of it, but I do know it's from Worcester. WOOSTR. I know they're the ones that made it. So if you want to try to track one of these down, I got this at a specialty paint store. I didn't get it from Home Depot or anything like that. So I don't know if Home Depot has them, but I can tell you with 100% honesty, stay away from the red feather Worcester roller that says it doesn't leave stipple, because it does. Been there, done that, figured that out for you. And you know, you see me getting a little extra paint everywhere, it doesn't matter. It's the inside of the drawer, nobody sees it. I just really needed to get these sides done, because when you open the drawer you can see the primer on there. So I really needed to make sure we got that done. I'm actually going to go get my brush and we're going to touch up the corners here. And the cool thing about this paint, remember how I said it flows out real good, it doesn't leave brush marks. So even if I brush this little piece right here and get off in the corners, it's not going to leave brush marks. So I do restoration work on homes that have been flooded or caught on fire, or stuff like that. That's what I do for my normal job, and this is the paint that I use every day when we're painting doors, trim, crown molding, stuff like that. This is the paint that we use all the time. I did an apartment complex a while back. I want to say it was 2 years ago, and we had 4 units that were complete guts, and they were down to the studs, all 4 units. I got this paint to paint the doors, and they actually used, for whatever reason, I think it's because it was already, the people were already moving in, they decided that they were going to touch that up there, touch that up there. They decided that they were gonna roll the doors and brush around the hardware and all that stuff. And I thought for sure that they were gonna leave brush marks all over the doors and they were gonna look like trash, because a lot of the paints, you'll see the brush marks, you'll see all the texture of everything, and you don't want that, obviously. And we use this paint from Benjamin Moore, the Advanced line, and it came out great. So that's why I paint everything with the Advanced line. And like I said in another video, they do make another paint one step higher. It's called Cabinet Coat, that comes out a little better than this one, but you have to buy it in gallons. You can't buy it in quarts, and it's like $85 a gallon. I'm not paying that for dressers. So Advanced line from Benjamin Moore, the green Worcester mini rollers, little 4-inch roller. Doesn't leave stipple. You can use brushes, whatever. Check it out.